Hi, this is a daily experience video, and now I'm gonna share a day in my life with you. So, not like a hindsight video, the how I recently experienced the presence, but like an actual day. Um, I love like going on trips with God, like having dates with God. And these days, I feel like I don't need to make that much effort to enjoy God, like go to specific places and things like that. So the presence of God became way easier, way more easy for me these days than doing something to experience God. Um, so anyway, there were a couple of weeks when, even though I was in a sabbatical, I still had to like go to places and see people, and people were visiting me. And actually, it's not rest for me. Like, I love it, I love those people, but it's just wears me out. So I was like, okay, the next day I'm gonna have rest. And like, what is rest for me is like complete boredom and silence, like no one around. This is rest for me. So going on a trip and going to parties is not rest. Actually, it's a hard job. Like working at home is way more restful for me than hanging out with friends. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have the whole day alone with God. And I really enjoy it, but I still had a free ticket for a performance in the theater. So I felt like going there with my little sister, and we had a great time. I really felt like God just gives so many things to me, like in so many ways. Um, so He really just wants me to enjoy life. Like, oh, I'm gonna give you this free ticket so that you can go to see a performance you could never see anyways. So yeah, it was such a gift from God. I had an awesome time with my little sister. So I got back home and I felt like, okay, the next day I'm gonna really have like blackout, like no reaction to anything. And it was only early in the afternoon. I only had like a short time of silence and meditation when I realized that I agreed to meet some of my late ministry friend. Is it the way you say it? We used to minister together. Um, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go there. But then I realized like there is a birthday of other ministry friends that night. So basically, I have a full schedule, and I was like, I can't believe it. Anyway, I was a bit sad, and then God said, like, trust life. Like, if life gives you these things, I'm gonna make sure that you will have me in them. It's not exactly what he said, like, but it's like, if this is what is happening, it is happening because it's the best for you, and I'm gonna make sure that you will have all of me in whatever that life brings to you. And I was like, okay. So I met that girl, and she was in very similar situation with God. We had similar burnouts and similar realizations, so we had a lot of fun. Like, we encouraged each other a lot in our walks with God and experiences with God. um, We really love discussing edgy things and scandalous things, and um, she's like similarly free spirited as I am. Um, so we shared experiences we never share with anyone. It was fun. And I was like, oh yeah, it was really from God that I met that girl. But after we met and had an awesome time, I was like, I should really go home now. But yeah, there's this birthday. Maybe I should just check in, like say hello and come home. But those ministry friends decided to have a worship set for their birthday. So the birthday party was a worship event, like a very small one. And I was like, okay, maybe I can still spend some time with God. Um, as a full-time minister, worship set is not the deepest way to connect with God. Like, I have been to so many events and conferences that actually the worship songs are like really too much for me and very repetitive and boring because I have to listen to them the same ones all the time. So when I worship at home, it's an instrumental music or worship songs that no one knows at all. So I hope that I won't hear Waymaker ever again, not even in heaven. Like, it's just, I can't bear it anymore. It's a great song, but it's just like, oh, it had been sung for a while. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It just, so it was a surprise for me that I enjoyed worshipping with those old songs so much. And it's a little bit like nostalgic, but also it's like such a sense of God's goodness and faithfulness comes over me because I can see that what this song means to me now and what way I sing it now and how I used to sing back then when I was like 10 or when these songs became first widespread, and how much God has changed me, how long He has taken me since that time. So it's like really a time of like reflection and meditating on the goodness of God and what He has done to me. So I was just like super grateful and crying and really enjoyed it. And it was great to see old friends, like since we don't minister in the same youth organization, we are not really in touch with each other, so it was great to see them. After that party, I was like, I should really go home and do the resting. But there was a lake with a park nearby, so I felt like having a little walk. I already eaten way too much at the party, so maybe I should have a walk. And it was beautiful. The trees were blossoming, and the street lights were shining through the blossoming trees. It was beautiful, and it reminded me of the times when I specifically went on dates with God, and it was, yeah, beautiful to remember those times and also like realize like, oh, it is just as fun as it used to be. It's even a little bit more fun now. mm. And I love how God loves silly things, like walking together and beholding trees and watching the beautiful blossoms and just it's not like I keep God in mind. It's not like I walk with him in that sense. Most of the time it's just like enjoying life, which is God. They are the same. Um, so I missed my tram back home, and the new route Google planned me was through the mountain, a route I've never taken, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take that one. So I was on the bus that goes across the mountain, and I was like, which is a hill, like mountain is a very high thing. We only have hills in Hungary. We call them mountains, but they are not that big. So I was like traveling on the bus, and then I felt like I should like get off that bus, and I was like, oh really? But I really felt like getting off, and I was like, okay. Nowadays, this is what like the leading of the spirit means to me. Like I don't hear him, I just really feel like doing something. But it was at night, and it was like a foresty area of that hill. So what am I doing here? And I just happened to find myself at a place where I was crying really hard a few weeks ago, and I was really asking for something from God. And I realized like this had happened. This prayer had completely been answered since that time when I was crying right here. And it was so great to be at the exact same spot and just be grateful. Like, yeah, it really happened. Yeah. So then I was just walking up and down the hill. I just found new routes, new paths. It was really beautiful with the street lights shining on the paths. And I was listening to the two of my favorite songs these days, This Beautiful Day from Upper Room and Found by Hillsong. They are not very famous, this is why I like them. And I was having them on repeat. I was so full of joy and gratefulness. I couldn't stop like singing and skipping, and it was so beautiful. And I really had like a long trip around that mountain at that night, like discovering new ways on that hill. And it was really warm. So I had a really great date night with God. And it was great to see that it just means the same. Like after coming to so many realizations how easy and simple God's presence is, it's still good to do like special things with him, like going on a trip together. Um, Accidentally, I have caught a bus home, but it was so warm. I sat down on my balcony, and I was just continuing the worship because I was really in a worshipy mode. Like worship button had been pushed on at that birthday. So for a long time I was just worshiping outside and writing in my diary. And when I was laying in my bed that night, I was like, how much better it is when God organizes your day. Like I thought like having my silent, restful day is the closest thing to the presence of God. And God was like, you think what my presence you think you know what my presence is? You have no idea. Like you want to be in charge of our relationship? What if I'm in charge of our relationship? What if I'm in charge of giving my presence to you in anything that life brings to you? What if I am way much better at organizing our time and our means of connection? Yeah. So yeah, it was really great to recognize that again. That yeah, God works a little bit differently than I think He does, and my silly concepts of how what is the best for me, what is the closest to the presence of God is just nothing else but an idea. I wish that you all become more aware of this playfulness of God, this enjoyment of God. Sometimes we have such a strict concept of what enjoying life, resting, experiencing God should look like, and we book expensive trips, expensive holidays, expensive retreats. Like we really want to make it happen. And enjoying life slash God is as simple as having a day off when you read your favorite book and eat your favorite food. Like sometimes it's just a walk in the closest park. So we have this consumerist mindset even on the presence of God. Like we need to make it really big and really complex and make it cost a lot of money because this is how we appreciate things. And sometimes appreciating means not complicating it, just not hurrying away from the moment that God is actually giving to us. So we want to have a big, shiny, complex something while God is right there at the mist tram, giving me a new route home. At the long worship on my balcony, at the long conversations full of encouragement with my ex-ministry friend. So it's just, God is most available in what is actually going on, not in what we want to make happen. And we can go way cheaper and way more stress-free the way we rest and go on holiday or go on retreat or give time to God, and there is an importance to wiping away schedules and just give all to Him. But He is just He's most available in what is going on right now. And if we want to look for Him in something else, we might find that He's less available there. Not that He's not there, but I don't know. I don't know how this works. Yeah, so at that night I was like so full of joy and I was laughing at myself. Like I was so obsessed with like having my little silent day, and God was just like, screw you. You know, you are not organizing my presence. Like you're not organizing the way we relate. Like I have some ideas you could never organize. Like what I could never come to this idea to go to that foresty mountain at night. It's a little bit scary. I would never go there, but it was beautiful and perfect because God took me there. It's not that important the way it happened to me, but I just want to free you to like take time to enjoy life the way it shows up, because this is the presence of God. I love you.